Whenever you're ready, Noel.
It all started out with a mouse, literally. Who would think that a mouse would be the character of what is now known to be the happiest place on earth? And yes, that is Disneyland. However, I'm not here to talk to you about Disneyland, but instead about the mastermind behind it. So growing up, I watched a lot of shows and movies and even read a lot of books that were of Disney productions. And I'm pretty sure that's the case for most of us here. However, have we really taken the time to think about who put it all together and why it was made? So Walt Disney, the creator of all things Disney, has become a national icon, and that is partly due to three major events in his life, which include his career as an animator, his creation of the famous Mickey Mouse, and his establishment of Disneyland. So what better way to get to know Walt Disney than to start off learning a little bit about how he grew up. He was born on December 5th, 1901 to a family of three brothers and one sister. However, he was the only one with a strong passion for drawing. And at around age 7, that was when he actually realized that this is what he loved to do. According to Neil Gabler, author of Walt Disney Triumph of an American Dream, he said that this interest started out with Walt when he was paid by his neighbor by the name of Doc Sherwood to draw his pet horse Rupert. So that was kind of like the marking point for his career. And then he started into high school, and he became editor of the cartoon section of his high school yearbook. But shortly after, he dropped out of high school and tried joining the military, but due to his age at 16, they rejected him, and he was sent to France on behalf of the American Ambulance Corps. So returning from France, he moved down to Kansas City, and that was where he got his first job. He worked at an art studio, and during this job, he met an artist named Ub Iwerks. And Ub Iwerks was actually associated with Lafograms, which is the short animated comical films that we now know today. So Walt started working with them. However, shortly after, the company went bankrupt and he was left unemployed. According to Walt Disney Family Museum on Walt's early life, unemployed, Walt left to LA at age 21 with only $40 in his pocket. So his passion for drawing was when he was growing up. However, his career started to grow when he moved to LA. 2 months into moving into California, along with his brother Roy, they opened the Disney Brothers studio. And that was where Walt kind of got a contract for his own work. That was when he was credited for all that he did. However, he started with the Oswald Lucky Rabbit, and he tried to pad in the movie so he could make the film, but he realized that a competing studio had taken his work and created the film already and left him with no credit. So at this point, he realized that my work isn't going to all go to waste, and instead of I'm going to create another character that's going to be based on my pet mouse back in Kansas City, which is what we know as Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse was actually going to be named Mortimer, but according to Keith Murphy, who was a contributor to the Mickey Mouse and Salem Press Encyclopedia, due to his wife's constant nagging on how bad of a name Mortimer was, he changed it to Mickey Mouse. And that was when we realized that Mickey Mouse made its first appearance on the movie Steamboat Willie in November 18th, 1928. So Mickey Mouse became such a great icon and such a known figure in all of America that it led Walt to win his first Oscar for that creation in 1932. And it led the Disney Brothers studio to also become the leading animation studio in all of the United States. Not only that, but till now, Mickey Mouse is known by many children all over the place, and the Medical College of Georgia actually conducted a survey last year in June of 2014 that found that 91.3% of children aged 3 to 11 years old were able to recognize the Disney logo by the one and only Mickey Mouse face alone. That's a great percentage. So his passion for drawing led him to create Mickey Mouse, but what was it that led him to establish the one and only Disneyland? He had always dreamed of building a big amusement park, but that dream never came to play until he took his daughters to an amusement park and realized that this isn't what an amusement park should be. Instead, it should be somewhere where the parents and their children are able to enjoy and have fun and spend that quality time that we all go, spend with our families when we go there. His brother completely rejected the idea, but eventually he came along and said, okay, let's raise $17 million and build this amusement park. So according to Max Thiem, who was the author of the Designing Disney website, he said that in order to raise that money, Walt was forced to sign a contract with ABC Contract that gave him $500,000 in loans right then and there and would guarantee him $4.5 million in future loans. So with that, he was able to hire an animator and they made their map. And then he worked with the Stanford Research Institute and they found a location in what is now known as Disneyland. And on June 17th, 1955, Walt Disney made the first speech for the opening of Disneyland. And that made him the head of the most important theme park in what is now known the world. So Walt Disney had a lot of up and down events. He was broke, he moved everywhere, but his three major events in his life, his passion for drawing, his career in making Mickey Mouse, and the establishment of Disneyland has made him become a national icon. And just remember that if it wasn't for all those three, we wouldn't have Disney, and we would never have grown up watching those Disney movies if it wasn't for the one and only Walt Disney.